tonight from London, the Eamonn Andrews Show. And tonight, Eamonn's guests are Milt Kamen, Dudley Moore, Lucille Ball, the Dudley Moore Trio, Carmen McRae, Noel Coward, Mohammed Ben Ali, formerly Cassius Clay. And now, here's Eamonn Andrews.
Oh, welcome, reality. Well, we're going to meet somebody now that I've never met on tonight and really like. So straight away, my next guest in London to film a television special is the world's best-loved dizzy dame, the unchallenged queen of television comedy, Lucille Ball. Great to see you, Lucille.
Thank you.
I was looking for you, too, at the big fight last night. Were you there?
What fight?
Muhammad Ali and Henry Cooper.
Oh, good heavens. I didn't even know they were angry at each other. I didn't know that.
All right, fair enough, Lucy.
I didn't.
I gather that next week or this week you're starting round London in a sidecar of a motorbike for this new TV film you're making with Tony Newley driving?
Yes, I'm doing a Lucy Goes to London special, and it is being done on a motorcycle. And I think that's a wonderful way to see London.
It's a wonderful way to see the traffic, and I wish you joy with it.
Yes, I'm going to understand every bit of trouble you all have once I've spent 10 days out in the streets of London trying to get around, I know.
Certainly.
But I really am looking forward. I'm also looking forward to some good weather. Do you have any?
Yes, we're due some more. You're just showing off. You've been in Barbados summer. We had some good weather while you were lounging in the sun. Yeah. Some lovely weather. But, Lucy, the thing I think that fascinates all of us in the business about you is this tremendous output of yours. I Love Lucy, The Lucy Show, and it goes on and on and on and maintains this fantastic standard that has us laughing at home night after night.
Thank you.
How do you manage this? You must be a very highly organized person to do it. How much of you, Lucille Ball, is in the Lucy that we see?
Well, according to my husband Gary, quite a bit, and according to my children Lucy and Desi, quite a bit. The organization, yes, you're right. It takes a great deal of organization on my part. It's sort of budgeting your time. But I think the reason that I can do what I do, as long as I do, and as happily as I do, because I love it. And I think that's, I think we're very lucky people when we're doing something that we love that much. It doesn't seem like work. It isn't difficult. I'd rather work than go to a party or go shopping or anything. I really enjoy it.
But you had it so well organized. I remember reading when you were expecting your second baby, that the scriptwriters arranged that Lucy should be expecting her second baby and then even predicted that it was going to be a boy.
Well, that was just a prediction, and it happened to come true. Now, really. But that wasn't prearranged.
Was it not? Oh, I thought that you were able to work all these things like that.
No.
But in
I
fact,
had a little help from up above on that.
But you had the whole nation by the ears. I think I remember it was Associated Press said they were going to cover the birth on a wartime basis with hourly bulletins.
They did. I wasn't aware of it until it was all over, but that's what happened. Just don't tell my boy, will you? I don't want him to know it.
What about the personal organization, Lucy, that goes into this? I mean, that you have your children, you have your presidency of the Desilu Corporation, and you have the activity as a comedian. Do you set out and slot your week like this, even though you enjoy it? Do you say, well, that much time for this and that?
Yes, 4 days of the week, Monday through Thursday, I have to be on the stage doing my show. a stage very much like this, not as nice as this one, but I'm on stage 12 doing my show from Monday to Thursday night, and I have an audience just like that. And without them, I couldn't do the Lucy show. I've always done it with an audience, canned laughter on our show. And it's a cross-section of America that we have in that audience. It's tourists, who come to Hollywood. And the Fridays I spend in my office, and some evenings, but not many. But early morning, I go to my office. I have my secretary there.
What do you call early morning?
Well, I get up at 7, and I'm in my office by 8, and I work until 10. And then I go on the set and work. And then lunchtime and in between, a couple of nights a week, I do my paperwork and meetings and things like that. And the big meetings, the stockholders' meetings and whatnot, are done on Fridays. And when there are no meetings, I have rather a long weekend with my children.
This wouldn't suit you, Dudley, I don't think.
Not a fan. Not me either. No, the whole object of becoming a performer is to run around at night and sleep late.
Okay.
I was glad to get out of pictures so that I could sleep a little later. For many years, I got up at 5 every morning. I got home at 8 or 8:30. Actually, television is a lot easier.
Now that you're president, you only get up at 7.
It has nothing to do with being president. It's just that I only have to get into makeup once a week. I do my show in an hour at night, on Thursday night. The rest of the time is just rehearsal.
I was going to say my makeup normally lasts the whole week.
Well, when did you make up last?
I'm not telling you. If you don't know, I'm not telling you.
Well, look, let's hold it out. I'll introduce my next guest. He's achieved success in everything he's attempted: playwright, actor, author, composer, director. And right now he's back again on the London stage after 13 years with yet another success, his trilogy of plays, Suite in 3 Keys. Noel Towers. Well, Noel, I know that you know Lucy.
That's an old friend.
Now, with all your work, Noel, it's impossible for any of us to pick out a highlight. Your first successful West End play was The Vortex, wasn't it, in 1924? 24. That was all the dates. And all the things that happened since then. But have you yourself ever analyzed what it is that keeps you in vogue? Because you weren't dictated to by the fashions. I mean, do you consider yourself with it?
Well, I think after the age of 50, you try too hard to be with it, end up by being without it.
Even though you didn't go with fashion, Noel, you certainly used fashion as a target, didn't you? I mean, you helped to kill off the failure, for instance.
I don't know if I killed it all for that.
Well, you had it staggering.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that particular period. Everything's changed now. Now I'm a slightly more somber, which is, still there's a little bit of comedy still going on, but my main play in this series is serious.
You concentrate on the more constant themes for your work now.
Yes, I never really worry about whether it's going to be with the trend or without the trend. I think one writes, I've always, all my life, written primarily to please myself if I was sitting in the audience. Yes. And if I have myself in stitches, then it's funny.
But wouldn't you, perhaps Lucy's success here is for the same reason that her comedy arises out of real situations, real emotions.
Yes, and another thing with Lucy, that she's a profoundly brilliant technician.
Thank you.
Her timing is marvelous and always has been. I think that is the gift as well as the fire.
Thank you. Noel, may I ask you something? I haven't had a chance to see your plays at the Queen Theater, is that right?
Yeah.
I understand in one you play a Midwestern millionaire.
Yes, sweetheart.
You've got to be kidding. Do you really?
Yes, I have a crew cut.
Let's hear some more dialogue.
Well, dear, I can't now because it wouldn't be sincere.
That's great.
Does that pass, yeah?
That's the art.
Indeed it passes. How do you
It's
manage
a hard
it?
R.
Yes.
You see, New England
This
is
is the
going to
seat.
say it's not correct. But I'm Minneapolis.
That's true. They put R's even where they aren't any. They say, "Do you believe in guards?"
No, doing that, if I wanted to set out to pay you a compliment, which compliment would you appreciate? That you were a great actor, or a great writer, or a great musician, or a great novelist, great playwright?
I think great's a dangerous word. I'm quite a good cook.
No, seriously, which of your accomplishments, do you take greatest pride in?
Well, I think writing, really. But you see, one of the reasons that I only play limited seasons is because I'm playing 8 performances a week. I have to save myself for the work in the evening. So, and I can't write, because writing takes quite a lot of vitality. But on the whole, I'd rather be remembered as a writer. But of course, an actor is remembered only in people's memories. It's an interpretive art. But writing, if it's any good, is loved and lived.
But apart from it living a little longer, and a great deal longer, I'm sure, is the pleasure that you derive from a completed book or a play as great as the pleasure that you get from a moment in the theater when, the audience have gone?
Oh, that's a particular pleasure. That's a lovely pleasure. I've been on the stage now since 1910. And the feeling of an audience applauding is still one of the greatest thrills in the world.
You agree with that, Lucy?
You bet.
After applause, laughter, huh?
Or maybe before. Maybe
Laughter
after.
first, applause after, and then cheers.
Nothing like that standing ovation, huh?
That's what I like.
I don't care for that. I just want pure adulation. I don't want the in between.
None of these halfway measures. Well, one of the things, of course, about Noel is his music, and let's hear now a sample of the music of Noel Coward, and at the same time listen to the very stylish singing of one of the world's top jazz singers. The song is Noel's composition, If Love Were All, the singer Carmen McRae.
I believe in doing what I can, in crying when I must, in laughing when I choose. I hope if love were all, I would be loved. I believe the more you love a man, the more you give your trust, the more you're bound to lose. Although when shadows fall, I think if only somebody splendid really needed me, someone affectionate and dear, tears would be ended if I knew that he wanted to have me. I believe that since my life began, the most I've had is just a talent to amuse.
Thank you, Carmen McRae. Nice one.
That's enough. She sings it beautifully.
Well, compliment from the author is a compliment indeed.
Years ago, I found by mistake, I was walking down Madison Avenue and I saw a record in the shop called Mad About the Boy, sung by Carmen McRae. Nobody told me that she'd recorded it or it had been done. And it was a record of a number of my songs, and I bought at once 20 copies.
Fair enough. Well, now, we've got one more world beater to meet yet, and we'll meet him in a couple of minutes. I mean, of course, Muhammad Ali, the man who still makes today's front pages as Cassius Clay.
Does it concern you about injuries? Are you worried about when you get into a man might be seriously hurt?
Yes, that's why I fight like I do. Most people will tell you that I'm not a hard hitter. I'm just a scientific classic boxer, just fast moving. I like to, jab a man 2 or 3 times and then sidestep him, and he's not running to the ropes and just. But I don't really hit him, I don't believe in hitting. I've been boxing, my mother say, ever since I was really born. I was about, I think, 5 years old when I realized I had 5 fingers. But I've been fighting a pretty good little while. 13 years. I was 2-time United States Golden Glove champion, 2-time United States AAU champion, and World Olympic gold medal winner in Rome.
I saw you win that in Rome, yeah.
And when I turned professional, I saw that it was so hard being a top-notch fighter until I said, I'm just 18 years old, and I can't beat people like Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson, Eamonn Andrews Show, and Nino Valdez, Henry Cooper at the time. So I said, I'm going to have to do something to outshadow these people. So I met a fellow named Gorgeous George. He passed a few days ago in America, top-notch wrestler. He was on a TV show, something like yours. He had a gold blonde hairdo, and he had his powder on. He said, I'm the prettiest wrestler in the world. I'm going to annihilate the bum next week. I'm going to kill him. I can't be beat. I said, this is a good idea. A few days later, I started it, and then this is what made me, so controversial. And as most people say, whenever I fight, the places are sold out like 2 weeks in advance. You can't get a ticket. And more people come to my fights than any fight in history. I mean, non-fight fans, people from places like all around India and Africa and Rome, and I mean, even old ladies, little children, all come. I've been really.
Well, when you were doing all this, I mean, one of the most remarkable things that one notices about you now, so they say post the last Patterson fight, that you've changed, a remarkable change from this gorgeous George image and the Louisville lip and so on.
I'm just my natural self now. I had changed then. See, that was the change when I was acting up. In order campaigning like those types.
So none of this was what some people said pre-fight nerve. This was a deliberate thought out.
Just thinking about money and acting crazy.
No, what about this? That the fashion now is for the young to be heard as well as seen. Young man like Cassius made sure he was heard. When you began, it was customary that one expected young people to be the opposite.
When I began, when I was young on the stage, we damn well had to be heard. Otherwise, we were fired. No, I think there's a certain amount of mumbling is liable to go on nowadays, but not with good actors. Good actors are always heard.
Yeah. I don't mean literally hearing the words that are said, but drawing attention to oneself. Which you did yourself. I mean, Muhammad is not the only one who did it, but do you think the switch now that young people are heard more than they were is a welcome?
Well, I think I think there's an awful lot of nonsense talked about the young people. Everybody says how noisy and violent and stressed. I think they're having a very good time and enjoying themselves. And some of them are very, very talented.
That's like Mohammed, in as much as he has so much to talk about. If every young person today who was making that much noise had that much going for them, then it's all right, I think.
Couldn't agree more.
But didn't you yourself, Lucy, early on in your career, suffer from the fact that you weren't noticed, that you were too quiet?
No, I don't think I've ever suffered from that.
My next publicity campaign is to strut news down the King's Road on Saturday afternoon. Nothing else.
Can you understand what he's saying, Mohammed?
I believe he's still campaigning.
I call it camping, not campaign.
I would suspect from what you told us earlier, Milt, that in your neighborhood it was better to be neither seen nor heard, huh?
Yes, sir. Well, in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, if you pronounced all your words, they would kiss you. There we sounds more like that dialect there. You know, we're here, for instance, you get angry at someone, you say, who do you think you are? Get out of my house. I never want to see you again. In Brooklyn, they simply say, what are you? What are you?
It's certainly quicker, gets to the point, isn't it? But having drawn attention to yourself, now here, the youngest, no doubt, is Dudley, but, oh, no, I don't know. We'll work that out later. But having shouted, or whatever it may be, and haven't been heard, and you're a classic example, Noel, the next test is that you maintain output, that you work, that you acquire discipline. Does one acquire discipline, or is it something that you have?
I think in the early days it was drummed into me to be well disciplined, and I think I've kept it ever since. Because as a matter of fact, I'm not really happy unless I'm working. You can't do a lot of work on your own if you're your own boss, unless you're self-disciplined.
Yes. Well, this certainly came out of what Lucy was saying a few minutes ago, because you couldn't keep that sort of schedule unless you had tremendous discipline.
Any kind of schedule, you have to have discipline. And the time you're that size, if you're not taught discipline, I think it's a dreadful thing when parents forego that and say, I'm going to let my child do anything they want, because what a terrible thing to do to a child for the rest of his life. I think discipline, Mohammed, don't you agree? You've had to have discipline long before you were a father.
That's right.
You discipline yourself in many, many
I'm being made to be.
wonderful ways, yeah. And
It's
you're
very
very grateful for it.
Ring switches, you know.
Yeah, off the lilac bush.
But when you achieve something, I mean, it's different in the field of athletics, because there is a limit of age. Not that you're young enough to go a long time, but do you feel the same desire now, Mohammed, that you had when you became champion?
Well, when I first became, when I was first started fighting amateurs, mostly for medals and prizes, being seen on TV. But now for money, alimony bills and lawyer fees. All I think about now is money. It's more of a business. I mean, getting up to run every morning, 45 miles, non-stopping. And, these ball players you have out here, they tell you how I train. As a matter of fact, I saw a ball player out there. One of them looks like a heavyweight. I'm looking for a sparring partner for my next fight. I'd like to try one of them fellows out there.
Depends which rules you go by.
Got your match here, my fellow.
Are you going to have a rest now?
Oh, I think I'll be fighting in 6 more weeks.
6 more weeks?
Probably in Germany with Carl Miltenberger, heavyweight champion. We just don't, fighters are pretty good, but we have a lot of good fighters today, but, I mean, I'm just so fast, I just can't find nothing. They are pretty good fighters. I mean, when Joe Louis was champion, Sugar Ray Robertson, Gene Tooney, Jack Dempsey, when they were in the prime, you had good fighters, but they were so superior over other ones until the game looked dead. But that's the way it is now. I mean, I 15 pound, no heavyweight that can, punch at half as fast or either follow me as far as the footwork is concerned. And it makes it look like there's nobody around. So I'll just have to do what Joe Louis did, go on a bum a month campaign, That's what they call it.
Go on a what?
A bum a month campaign. But do you mean now, Mohammed, that the joy, the desire of being champion is gone, and it is simply a question of collecting the money?
Well, it's good. I mean, you like the honor of being champion. I never lose that.
Mohammed.
To be like a business.
Mohammed.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. The fight was last night, right?
Right.
I wasn't sleeping like Rip Van Winkle. You haven't got a mark on you.
Hit and run away and live to fight another day. Well, most boxers you see, a lot of them, might have a cauliflower or flat nose or twisted lip or cut stitches over there. But I mean, boxing is good. But if I was the type of fighter that had to take that, I just quit because you don't last for too long.
Well, how do you avoid it?
I'm just natural. I just have a lot of speed. That's my greatest thing. That saves me a lot, my speed.
Is it something you've worked on, or is it you feel something that's natural to you?
A little of it's natural, but I work real hard. People don't see me getting up every morning at 4 o'clock and running 5 miles. I mean, horses actually tire before I do. No, seriously, these horses, they run them around the track 2 times, 3 times on a mile track. I mean, they going in, they're tired. If they go around, they run about 3 miles in about 6 minutes, and it takes me about 40 minutes. But I'm going slow, but for a human, I believe I'll run a horse. This is how I can keep up such a fast pace.
Is your technique sort of consciously? I know nothing about boxing, but I have become rather interested.
Yes, everything that I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, everything.
But I mean, you sort of move around in such an extraordinary sort of way that it would seem inevitable that somebody could whop you on the nose, and yet it's never possible. I mean, is it part of your technique to look easily hittable?
You're not as dumb as you look. No, fella.
I think that's absolutely charming, isn't it? Oh, if I had one of my faces on it, it'd be all right, but nothing. I was sitting here looking all suave,
Why don't you get up and hit them,
Mohammed, from whom do you inherit your good health, your excellent health, your vitality? Your father, your mother?
Well, my mother and father were both healthy people. I've never drank or smoked, and I've never really dissipated. I don't know girls, don't know ladies want me, so I'm not worried about that. I don't have no trouble. I mean, I train hard and work hard. What kept me in good shape? Because I used to talk so much until if I lost, I'd have to leave the country. Everybody wanted me so bad. So now I'm trying to clear up that image, and then if I do slip, well, the fall won't be so hard.
So you're going to be a very quiet fighter in the future, are you?
Well, I talk, but not on boastful,
Just like tonight, sort of the modest, shy, returning.
He's honest. He's honest.
Exactly.
I still tell people how great I am, but more humble way.
Why are you so determined, Mohammed, or say so often that if you're beaten once you'll retire?
Well, I really believe it. I really believe it. I'll just retire.
But why? What's your reason for that?
Well, the heights that I rest in boxing is so high until once I fall, that's it.
And would you think then, as I read somewhere, of you've been offered parts as an actor, of trying to become an actor?
Well, I don't like that. Everything I do is real. I just like it. It's too much rehearsal.
Well, would you do?
fellas, like people like you, like for your show, you know, you have writers. I don't have to have writers, man. I told that to Johnny Carson the other day. I'm joking, I don't know.
You're talking to a big writer here.
With a fantastic left hook.
Yeah.
Not me where I am today.
What would you do, Mohammed? What would you do if you weren't a fighter?
Well, if I quit.
Yeah.
I think he could be a comedian, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd
Everyone
want it.
there thinks so, anyway, yeah.
He wouldn't want that.
No?
You know, Johnny Carson, you know, he's a fellow who's got a show like this in New York City. He said, Champion, you do so good. He said, you should take over my show. Would you like to have a show like this? I said, Johnny, the two things wrong. He said, what? I said, the wrong complexion and the wrong connection. Boy, he like how he fell out of his chair laughing.
Well, I tell you what, Mohammed, I think we've run out of time, and I'd like you to take over this show and close it for me tonight, will you? Will you say goodnight to my guests and let's have the show.
I close my shows with a right close.
No.
I'm bleeding.
Okay.
All right. He's in the chair. No?
I don't have to close shows.
All right. Well, you haven't closed this one. You've opened it with a bang. It was really great having him with us, wasn't it?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Great personality. I wish I didn't have to say goodnight, but I must say goodnight. Thanks to everybody, to Carmen McRae, and it's good night to the delectable Lucille Ball. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Milt, glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Dudley Moore, the new heavyweight champion. Noel Howard, great to have you with us. And Muhammad Ali, I got it right. Thanks. We'll have more people next week. Goodbye.